Hey guys, B.O.L.T here. Welcome to the summary of JoJo's Part 3, also known as Stardust Crusaders. So, to get you up to date, Parts 1 and 2 um, are like prequels. So, basically, Parts 1 through 3 is one story, even though they have connections to Parts 4, 5, and 6. Um, this is the, Dio story. So basically, part one, you have the beginning of the Joestar bloodline, which is basically aristocrats, and just because George Joestar, the at the time head of the family fortune and all that, got a mask that ended up being um, like a vampire. Um, Actually, I don't even know what they're called. We'll call them the Pillarmen. Anyways, that species basically there was three people that were thought to be insane. Right, sorry, slight distraction. Basically, Pillarmen, three were insane. One was Cars, the head of this faction. There was Wamu, and ACDC. It's been a minute since I've watched part two. Anyways, Cars is the one who created the mask or the mask, like multiple. Uh, and it basically just gives you the abilities of you can live as long as you want, but of course the sun is the one thing. It gives you a whole bunch of vampire abilities, like you can suck blood through your fingers, not your teeth, through your fingers. Um, and it can if you use there's some kind of vampire poison that can be injected when sucking blood, which can make that other person a vampire. Anyways, super strength, super speed, super agility, super stamina. Basically, it's a superhuman. Basically. Um, Anyways, the rest of them, those three, and also there's also Satana, but he's kind of like the lowest end of them all. But anyways, they destroy the rest of the Pillar Men. They kill most of the clan of the Haman, which is Haman users are. They were able to take the idea of the sun's energy and make it into their own. It can slow down an aging process for a time, and it makes it to where they can produce the energy of the sun, which of course is a huge thing against the power of the mask. Um, but they still were able to be battle like IQ ability to knock most of them out. But of course, some of them with some know-how was able to pass on that knowledge. Part one is basically like the what happened after that is George Joestar was able to get hold of one of those masks. He thinks it's just a neat decoration. Him and his wife had a kid, Jonathan. They end up getting into a crash, which ended up being from Dio's father. Um, and he just becomes a grave robber, but he's there to look as a hero to George. But still, his wife is killed to protect Jonathan. And basically, from that heroic act, Dio's father is owed his life, and basically makes a hotel, makes his wife work to death, has a son named Dio not long after Jonathan because they're about the same age, or probably already has the kid but is in like some other faraway place at the time. Um, and then eventually Dio poisons his father to death, and he's sent to the Joestars as an adoption. Um, and then he slowly tries to poison George when they become older. This way, he's old enough to take on the the mansion and its riches and the Joestar uh, bloodlines, basic stuff. But of course, Jonathan is the other problem. Him being an actual blood relative, makes it to where he would become the next heir to it all. So he has to kill George, then before that, pronounce and kill him. And it's basically he finds out the secrets of the mask, tries to use it against both. He does kill George, but in the process destroys the fortune in the mansion. And basically, William Zeppeli, Baron William Zeppeli, who he came across the same exact mask. Um, and it ended up taking his father from him, and he got to see it firsthand and went on a journey to meet someone with Hammond, and get trained through it. He sees that Jonathan's willing to fight it and has lost just like him, gives him the abilities of Hammond by training, and he's easily one of the most influenceable persons with Hammond. Um, and even his masters can't even touch the um, how much Hammond this guy contains. And basically, Jonathan just becomes this huge person who, just not by his strength, but also by his um, what is it called? His potential in Hammond makes it to where most vampires just in seconds, and he clears a whole room of them, and even some that are specials, he can knock them out. But when it just comes to Dio, who has a little better understanding of it, is able to go around it. And he's able to eventually kill that Dio by cutting his head off, killing him. And then Baron does pay a price during that adventure. But he does tell him that he had a son and a wife hidden away, and that he may have more family, and he wants the Joestars to watch over them from now on. Um, but anyways, he also meets a back alley guy named Robert Speedwagon, and they become quick friends by the fact that Jonathan is a polite man that doesn't go for the kill, and he just wants to know what he wants to know, and basically gains his respect. Then they become friends. Eventually, he does give him the position to make his own foundation slash company, and I think oils and technology and all that, and he's able to build upon just securing the world with whatever he can through the years. And it comes in part two when he's already like almost as old as like probably my grandma. But him and Aaron, the hometown girl that fell in love with Jonathan, who went on to get married, but during the trip, Dio decided to jump in as a head, paralyze Jonathan from the neck down. During the explosion of the boat that they were on, he cuts off Jonathan's head, takes the body, and hides in a coffin. And then there is Arina, who gets away, who's already impregnated by Jonathan, knows it, and also gets away with a stowaway baby. Not a stowaway, but the mother dies, just like Jonathan's mother died in the beginning, um, and saves her. And I don't remember her name, but she eventually has an undercover name named Lisa. Anyways, George Joestar the second, son of um, Jonathan, is born. He doesn't have any signs of Haman, unlike Jonathan, and is grown up and probably has the same. It is said that he has probably the same potential, even more so than Jonathan. And basically, he goes into World War II, I believe. No. World War II is during. No. Yeah. World War One. I got it right. So World War One, he was a pilot. He was one of the best, and eventually he went in to see his general or commanding officer, and it ended up being one of the zombie vampires of Dios that was able to somehow hunt down a Joestar and kill him. Lisa hears about this. She being with a kid, being Joseph, goes and hunts down this guy, but because it is a government official, they are instantly caught. She's instantly caught and federally accused, um, and fakes her death and goes into hiding, and then starts calling herself Lisa Lisa. But she was raised by Straitso, who is the underling of the master that trained Baron Zeppeli, but is higher than Baron. But he becomes the new master of Haman, but because of age, he does start noticing that the stone mask is probably the best to keep his youth and his ability, and it scares him. Um, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Anyways, so Lisa Lisa's in hiding. JoJo Star's dead, so it's only Erina and Speedwagon to grow Joseph up. Um, and basically, through the years, he's just a snob-nosed brat who um, has no parents, and he does have even more Haman than Jonathan and um, George II. Probably combined, it's not fully said, but he has a lot more potential than his father and his grandfather. Um, but he is also able to instantly use it in emotional times. Um, and then Straight says he can probably train him, but of course, Arena doesn't want that life for him. Neither does Speedwagon. Because three Joestars at this time have been taken by the path of this adventure. Anyways, we're already at 11. Basically, he grows up. So does Lisa. Lisa starts becoming, I think she's 50 by this time. Um, anyways, Straitso eventually finds another stone mask thanks to Speedwagon, uses it to become a vampire, and he tries to kill most of the um, team of the Speedwagon Federation, but because he personally knew Speedwagon, he gets him from an inch of his life and puts him into a river and doesn't care if he's gonna live or not. So he spared him. Um, anyways, Erina and Jonathan are told of this news. I mean, Joseph. Um, and then not long before that news, they meet Smokey, who is a little bandit who's on the streets, and Joseph and Erina instantly take him up and tries to raise him up for a better human being, which I think he eventually becomes the governor of New York or something like that. Um, which basically takes like amazing props from them. And then let's see. Eventually, they find out that it was Straitso. Smokey and Joseph are out. He starts noticing Straitso and starts to battle him, and he's some able have a luck slash IQ the heck out of him and defeats Straitso. But Straitso does reveal that he didn't fully kill Speedwagon, and actually no, I don't think he tells him about Speedwagon. He just says that they were on a discovery. Joseph goes to find this discovery in the Germans' hands, by the way. This is like beginning of World War II. Um, and the Germans have the one of the pillarmen being Satana and has one of the stone mask. Um, well, actually, they have a lot of stone mask at this time. They also have Speedwagon, who gives them information via torture and also just how terrified he is of the stone mask and any vampires. Plus the fact that this could be the creators of these such masks, so they probably have a better handle of these abilities. So I'm sorry, I'm running through all this stuff. I'm trying to do this, and then um, after that, um, Joseph shows up, is trying to escape with Speedwagon, um, but he's tracked. He's almost tracked down by Satana, and he's able to open the door to basically disintegrate Satana. Um, It's also revealed one of the bigger characters of part two is Stormenheim, which is a German general who takes massive um, pride in the technology and improvements in science of Germany. Um, Superior German technologies, superior German science. But he does get a lot of injuries and disabilities from this outcome, and they have to put him into a high, like medical condition. After that, they are sent to meet someone in Italy, which ends up being the grandson of Baron Zeppeli, Caesar Zeppeli. He we'll just cover his little backstory real quickly. He has an instant connection to the mask because his father disappeared from his life once he meets Lisa. Um, and he takes up the legacy of the Zeppelis, and he doesn't recognize his son when he goes to, he becomes a street bandit and tries to attack his father. But of course, Caesar instantly notices that his father was doing it for a reason, and he takes this reason and burden onto his shoulders, and he basically starts learning from Lisa. Um, but let's see, he starts to show off to Joseph. Joseph still has some comebacks once in a while. They go straight to Lisa, and because of the fact that actually, I'm jumping ahead of myself. They go to the chambers of Cars, Wamu, and ACDC. One of Caesar's friends from the German army, I believe, is killed. Um, and at that time, um, they're not really understanding of their abilities. They try to use Haman, um, but it's futile. I believe it's Wamu is marked, is injured by Joseph, which gives him a sense of pride slash warrior traits against Joseph, that this is the first ever warrior, period. Even people that were bigger Haman users than him has not scratched him, and this is the first person that does. Um, and he's able to allow people to escape, the others to escape, and he's able to make a deal with Santana, well, not Wamu and ACDC, that he will be able to um, learn more Haman and come back and actually give him a full battle. I think it's like a month or so, and he both Wamu and ACDC give him wedding rings of death. He put one puts them on his heart and one puts it on his throat pipe, and basically he has that amount of time before it fully dissolves into his system and kills him with poison. And it's also very painful to have. Um, Anyways, they go straight to Lisa. They get like super advanced training right off the bat. Um, and they're easily able to start learning quickly. Um, and then they get given two different masters to separate the two, so they have more of a self teach themselves kind of thing, and they're easily able to instantly get a better handle. Even especially Joseph, he's almost matched Caesar almost immediately through this training. Um, the three decide to become too eager and jump and start learning that Lisa has their red stone, which acquired alongside a specific stone mask that has an imprint for a stone. It's basically like the perfect red stone or something like that. Basically, it has the full power to condense solar power. Um, and it can, mixed with a stone mask, is somehow able to make someone to an ultimate life form, which gains all the abilities of nature. Basically, they're jumping back and forth. AC/DC decides to jump to Joseph to try to kill him. He kills his master, but tries to fight Joseph, and Joseph is somehow able to kill Wamu. Um, uh, but his brain is able to still wiggle around, take control of one of the maidens of Lisa, who ends up being Lisa Susie Q. And Susie Q has a liking to Joseph, as Joseph has a liking to her. And she tries to. She is able to steal the redstone, send it, and basically they're able to eventually kill Wamu. It's AC/DC's brain. Um, they send off to Lisa Caesar, and them start heading for where the delivery is supposed to be for. They able to come into contact with it, but of course the Germans were able to lock onto the position as well. Take all of them in. Stormenheim is shown to be alive via mechanicals, and Cars instantly learns of this, and we also see that he has a love for nature. Like, he'll save a dog rather than a human being. Um, but he's able to find where they are, get the stone. Um, but he's also fought off almost immediately from Joseph. Um, but they're able to get away with cars being put to the bottom of a deep, dark trench. And he's able to get away, of course. And they find the castle that they held up at, and Caesar just jumps right in as it's the sun is out. But of course, this makes it to where he's vulnerable with emotions from his past. Vulnerable. Anyway, this makes it to where he can be attacked at any moment. He approaches the castle and is attacked by a invisible force by wind, and it ends up being Wamu able to have wind going off of him that makes him, like, the rays of light, not able to touch him from with how powerful his wind is. And he's able to fight with Caesar, and Caesar's able to have good hand up once in a while, but eventually they both do all-out attacks, which causes them almost fatal wounds. But of course, Wamba, being the one with vampire abilities, is able to come back from where Caesar isn't, and from the destruction of the building that they made, a somehow cross-sized structure is able to fall off the ceiling and onto Caesar, crushing him. But he's able to gets the antidote that allows Joseph, because when he fought AC/DC, he was able to get to the one potion, but now he's able to get the second antidote. So even if time runs out, Joseph is fine from the poison. Sadly, they are too late. Yeah, Lisa and Joseph. The master's still on healing of Caesar's. Actually, no. I think he took his hand or something. He's able to grab the master and take his hand or something, but he is able to be healed up eventually. Cars and Joseph make a deal. Well, not a deal. They basically say, we will give you the stone, but we can break it right now if. Well, actually, no. They have it. They say it's back at the place they were, and that there's a bomb on it. And if they kill him now, they'll just let off the bomb. Lisa and Joseph go to toe with Wamu and Cars, and basically say, if you fight us, we'll eventually get the red stone for you. So they meet at a Coliseum. Wamu and Joseph go 1-to-1. They go around the arena with a vampire horse carriage kind of situation, with weapons and Basically, it's a battle to the death. Eventually, Joseph is able to pull one out of his butt and win. Um, and of course, this makes it to where he's the winner. Cars and Lisa are the next, but of course, Cars doesn't play fair and just wants the stone. He doesn't actually care for any warrior pride or anything. He just cares for the stone. So he's able to get the upper hand on Lisa by just simply giving her vampire to fight and stabbing her in the back, basically. Um, and he has to go straight into a fight with Joseph. Um, it's Smokey learns from Speedwagon that Lisa's the mother of Joseph, and they're fighting for a little bit. Um, Joseph does know at this point that it's possible that Lisa has some kind of connection to the Joestars, because she does have a photo of, I believe, Jonathan and Erina, or some family group of his. And then let's see here. Stupidly, I believe Stormenheim shows up to help against the vampires, and he has solar powered energy, and it gets directed at Cars, who has the mask and stone on him, which instantly makes him into the ultimate life form. So before the sun can rise, he's able to become one. And then Joseph runs into a plane, takes it into a volcano, trying to kill off Cars, but of course, Cars is the ultimate living being. He eventually just uses the platform they are on to shoot themselves into the air, and is able to have Cars go into space, but Cars has no nature can fight against space, and he's not able to do anything, and it's painful, so he just stops thinking. Joseph does lose his hands to Car during the battle, and he's able to land on the platform into the ocean, which is found by a ship, and then he is back to Venice, I believe it is, to meet up with Suzuki, who does eventually marry him. They go back to England or whatever that he's originally from. Crashes his own funeral because no one knows that he was even alive still, because Susie Q decided not to send a letter for him. And basically after that, Speedwagon dies by age. Erina she's a teacher, and dies by age. They all move into America and New York. Susie and Joseph have a daughter named Holly. Let's see here. I don't know about the mayor. The master of Caesar. I do know that of course, Smokey's able to become a mayor, most likely of New York, and I think, oh yeah, Lisa does get remarried to a movie star. That's all we know about part 2. And then of course we get a little teaser for part 3 at the end of this, where Joseph acknowledges a new threat. He's on his way to Japan. Thanks to World War II, does have a hatred for Japan, which is either probably Pearl Harbor, or just the fact that his daughter Holly ended up getting married to a Japanese to steal his daughter away. And of course, we do learn through, I think the manga actually makes it like, that's Kujo, the person who, last name Kujo, I forgot the first name, is a jazz musician, and he's a traveling one, so he's barely home. They do have a kid together, being part 3 Jotaro. Um, and he's a well-mannered boy until probably 16, where he becomes a delinquent, starts leaving mills because he doesn't like them and doesn't pay for them. He's um, just missing school and all that. He basically does whatever he wants because of the fact that his father is around. He else than his love, his general good heart from his mom, and his, well, I don't think he there's yeah, there's a confusion about Joseph. Um, has either met or has not met his grandson. Probably has actually like phoned him, but has never actually seen him face to face at this point, which is weird because, Speedwagon Foundation, plus also the fact that Joseph is a home, like he sells off homes like real estate. So he's pretty good in money. So he could probably meet his daughter once in a while, or with Speedwagon almost all the time. Um, but anyways, that's the start of part 3. We'll go into a second part tomorrow because I'm actually running out of huge time. But anyways, goodbye.